Last week was full of activities on the political scene in Nigeria. From the platform of the opposition for the 2027 elections, that is speaking of the African Democratic Congress, to the ruling party at the federal level and in most states of the federation, that is talking about the All Progressives Congress, the Labour Party, and the PDP. It was all activities last week. And like we promised, here we are again. Welcome to another edition of Talking Politics with Dr. Oladipo. With this particular program focusing on the countdown to the 2027 elections. Like we said last week, which was the first edition of this subset of Talking Politics and Other Issues with Dr. Oladipo, we'll be focusing on parties and their activities towards the 2027 elections. There were quite a number of them last week. But before we go into the details, let me remind you that I am your regular host, Dr. Oladipo. I am the managing editor of The Eagle Online, which operates at www.theeagleonline.com.ng. And we do this in partnership with one of the world's fastest growing YouTube channel that is talking about The Eagle Online Nigeria. So, last week was actually full of several activities. But because of time constraints, we will not be able to take all those activities as they relate to the 2027 elections in Nigeria. So, this week we'll be focusing on two critical ones. And those were capable, indeed, of shaping what comes up in 2027. Let's dive straight into the first one. And that's is actually a number of issues that arose in the Labour Party last week. Let's start with what the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Dr. Dati Baba Ahmed, said. He spoke about 2-3 times last week, but we'll be focusing on the issues that affect the Labour Party as it concerns joining the coalition, the division within the party, and more especially the 2027 projections by both Baba Ahmed and his advice to Peter Obi on what should become of his ambition in 2027. Now, Baba Ahmed was on Wednesday a guest on The Morning Brief, a program on Channels Television, and he spoke about reconciling the tendencies within the party. It was a major topic for discussion during the week. And the big question was, will Dati Baba Ahmed be able to achieve that reconciliation? Viewers, you'll recollect that the party has become factionalized, divided into two. While Julius Abure says he remains the national chairman, a section of that party led by Peter Obi and the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, have put in place an interim arrangement for a national working committee, and that NWC is led by a former minister, Nenadi Usman. And it was to the heart of this that Baba Ahmed spoke when he appeared on that Channels television program, The Morning Brief, on Wednesday. And one of the key things he said on that program and emphasized on stridently was his respect for Peter Obi. Let me quote him on that before we go into what he said about trying to reconcile all the tendencies. He said, on the division within that party, he said there are two key individuals that I have tremendous respect for. There are two key individuals that I have tremendous respect for. He said one of them is Peter Obi, and I welcome him openly. Let me quote him further. The Labour Party welcomes him to still come and retain the Labour Party ticket and contest the 2027 election with or without me. And the ADC is welcome to adopt a southern candidate. So, this shows, like some people have said, that the Labour Party, even the faction that has Julius Abure as national chairman, still wants Peter Obi on the ballot in 2027 using the Labour Party as the platform. So he was then asked, that is talking about Baba Ahmed now, that's how does he view the involvement of Peter Obi in the recent coalition talks? And his answer, when he was further prodded that wasn't that an anti-party activity, was this. Let me quote him straight away. This is not an anti-party activity. It is an unfolding situation. The meaning of a coalition is that political parties, interest groups, and individuals are coming together. It's an unfolding situation. I attended coalition meetings. Peter Obi is welcome to continue to attend those coalition meetings, Baba Ahmed said. So, and he went further and confirmed that the meeting he attended, the NEC meeting that was convened by the Abure-led faction, he had the support of Peter Obi to be at that meeting. While on the same day, Peter Obi was in the meeting that was convened by the Usman faction. So both of them, who were presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates in 2023, are divided among the two factions. So, what does he have to say about that? That is talking about Baba Ahmed now. He said the Labour Party is not a party to walk away from, not a party to be abandoned or to be ignored. I assure you that for every little step I take, concerned parties are aware. I don't need to get too much into our internal operation, but give you a categorical answer. Everyone that has to do with everything that I do is aware. I call for parties to get together and talk. That's the way forward. When the parties meet, journalists will get the headlines of what was discussed and a positive catalyst in this case, and bringing people together to unite, understand themselves, and make good efforts again to rescue Nigeria. And that's his position. That is rescuing the Labour Party. And the question people have asked is, how far can he go? Many believe he can go very far. And that is considering the fact that up till now, like the ADC confirmed through his spokesman, Bolaji Abdullahi, Peter Obi has not become a full member of the ADC, meaning that he has not resigned his membership of the Labour Party. And a lot of people are looking in his direction to ensure that he does not go into the ADC, where he's likely going to lose the presidential ticket to Atiku Abubakar, who many have concluded is going to run. So, with the confirmation that Obi has not registered with the ADC fully, Baba Ahmed is convinced that he is going to return fully to a united Labour Party and get on the ballots for the party. So, then after the meeting that was attended, convened by Abure, he was asked to make comments, and Baba Ahmed said this. Let me quote him for you to see how much they believe that the Labour Party is a good platform for Peter Obi in particular, and for a southern candidate generally. Baba Ahmed said, the Labour Party is not one to desert. Its achievements and history in Nigerian politics are both unique and unprecedented. We presented evidence of scoring 10 million votes in the last election, although it was later reduced to 6.1 million. For that reason, I remain. I repeat, the Labour Party is not one to walk away from. Baba Ahmed then explained why everybody should come together and ensure that that party achieve its purpose. In the rundown to a later interview that Baba Ahmed also granted, he said categorically that he won't mind running as the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. But like he said, it is better for that party to present a southern candidate, considering the fact that the All Progressives Congress, which is in power now, is almost 100% likely to feature a southern candidate in the person of the incumbent, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that's the focus of the Labour Party. Can we present a Peter Obi who is a southerner to run on the platform of that party instead of going with the African Democratic Congress? But as he was also speaking and attending the meeting on the side of the Abure faction, there was also the Nenadi Usman faction that met and had on its side the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, and the president of the Trade Union Congress, Festus Osifo. A lot of people believe the two unions are the owners of the Labour Party. Some have come to criticize that and by saying the Labour Party is a fluid party that does not belong to only workers. And some of them are quick to point to the fact that for the Labour Party to have gotten 6.1 million votes in the last election, where Peter Obi stood as presidential candidate, then it means that party is not just being backed by workers, because workers are far from that number in the country. So when the faction led by Nenadi Usman met, what were the things that they agreed on? Let me read a part of the communique by quoting. The NEC unanimously ratified and inaugurated the Interim National Working Committee of the Labour Party under the leadership of Senator Nenadi Usman as the Interim National Chairman and Senator Darlington Nwokocha as the Interim National Secretary, among other persons. The NEC approved the detailed schedule for the conduct of world congresses, local government area congresses, state congresses, zonal congresses, and the National Convention of the Labour Party. The National Secretariat is mandated to publish the guidelines and timelines to ensure transparent and democratic elections at all levels. The NEC approved the constitution of statutory committees to supervise membership, revalidation, and new membership registration across the country. The committees shall work with the National Secretariat, state chairmen, and relevant stakeholders to ensure credibility and inclusiveness. The National Secretariat is mandated to publish the list and membership of the committees. So, for now, according to that faction of the party, the focus is on the forthcoming Anambra State gubernatorial election. Their party organ reaffirmed its commitment to fielding credible candidates in the Anambra State governorship election and the various by-elections into senatorial districts and federal constituencies across the country. It was also directed that that faction should meet with the Independent National Electoral Commission and sort things out in line with the Electoral Act 2022. It also cautioned against any parallel structure or activities that are inconsistent with its resolution. So, in that communique, INEC was also called upon and all security agencies to discharge their statutory responsibilities impartially and professionally to ensure free, fair, and credible elections in the Anambra State governorship election and other by-elections. So, that is where that faction is. How that faction is going to work with the Abrele faction, we are waiting to see. And like we've all seen, parties in disarray in the past, they didn't survive elections. And that is why a lot of people are looking up to Babangida Ahmed to fulfill his promise of unifying all the factions. And like we reported just earlier in brief, the ADC has spoken on why Peter Obi and a former Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, are yet to officially join the party. That position was stated by the ADC National Police Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, on Sunday. And let me quote him on what he said when he was asked why Obi, El-Rufai, and others are yet to officially join the party. He said, they were granted leave to complete the process of elections, the by-election and the election of their governorship candidates, like the case of Mr. Obi in their legacy parties. They have people who have obtained nomination forms to contest elections on the platform of those parties. So it's only logical and fair that they are allowed to complete that process, but they are solidly in the coalition. As soon as that process is completed, they will move in fully. But how does this pan out? Many are not too sure, because the belief is that Peter Obi may not fully join the ADC, but believe in the essence of the coalition, which is not really about contesting elections, but coming together to fight to unseat the ADC, to the APC and President Tinubu. All of these are cooking. And like we've always told you, whatever develops at any point in time, we are going to keep you very, very informed. And you'll hear it here first. So we'll keep watching the Labour Party, and we'll keep watching and reporting. Now to the second issue we are looking at today. When the news initially broke that Muhammad Babangida, the son of Nigeria's former military president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, had refused and rejected his recent appointment by President Bola Tinubu as chairman of the Bank of Agriculture, most people saw it as a news that has nothing to do with the countdown to the 2027 elections. But a closer look and closer check has shown that it has everything to do with that election. And that started from the fact that the source of the letter from the onset was said to have come from a former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Bashorundele Momodu, who posted it on his social media platform. By the way, and which was why it was quickly tied to the 2027 election, Bashorun Momodu had earlier, just some days before that letter became public, resigned his membership of the PDP and declared for the African Democratic Congress, the platform for the opposition coalition for the 2027 election. So, what has that letter got to do with 2027? Those following it have said it's a matter of propelling information to the public that can unsettle the government and make it look shaky and unstable by all ramifications. So it's disinformation, misinformation, something to keep the government busy at all costs. So what happened on that day? A letter came into the public space saying that Muhammad Babangida had refused that offer. We'll read you that letter. But I must report that just a few hours after that letter became public, an unsigned statement that was credited to the media office of Mohammed Babangida said, and let me quote it, "We wish to clarify that Mohammed gratefully accepts the appointment as chairman of the Bank of Agriculture as announced by the federal government and extends his sincere appreciation to President Tinubu for the trust and confidence bestowed upon him. We also want to assure the public that those spreading these falsehoods will be thoroughly investigated and brought to justice. We remain committed to transparency, accountability, and fostering unity within our nation." That statement also encouraged Nigerians to always verify information, especially looking for sources that are credible for that information. So, let's read you that letter and point out a few things that those who are discerning enough quickly spotted. Number one was the spelling of the name. It's Muhammad Babangida and not Mohammed Babangida. And then also, the language, according to those who are close to the man, was far from the way he writes, far from the way he thinks. So, now, let me read that letter in full to you. The letter was dated July 21, 2025, and it was titled "Re, Declining Appointment as Chairman, Bank of Agriculture." It reads, "I wish to express my sincere gratitude for the honor of being considered and appointed as Chairman of the Bank of Agriculture. It is a true privilege to be thought worthy of such a strategic role in advancing the nation's agricultural and economic development. After careful reflection and consultation, I have decided, with utmost respect, to decline the appointment. This decision was not made lightly. It stems from the convergence of personal and professional considerations, which, at this time, would not allow me to serve with the level of focus and commitment the position rightly demands. Your Excellency, I remain fully committed to the vision of a prosperous and self-sufficient Nigeria under your leadership. I continue to hold your administration in the highest regard and stand ready to support national development in other ways where my expertise may be of service. Thank you once again for the confidence in me. I'm deeply appreciative." But before this letter came, the Eagle Online had published a story in which all the sources told us that the letter was fake. Every source that we checked. And those sources included those close to the subject matter, that is Mohammed Babangida. We also checked with security agencies who we were told had initially spoken with him and screened his credentials before the appointment was announced, and we checked lastly with the presidency. And the presidency included the presidential villa itself and the office of the secretary to the government of the federation that handles such appointments. So, what we found was that that letter was fake. And those in the know told us during the course of looking at what actually transpired that the resort to issuing that fake letter was because the opposition, which has been accused of issuing that letter, didn't have any other reason for which the young Babangida could not have been appointed. And this being the fact that he is eminently qualified for that position, having handled such and with results in the past. So we went checking what are his credentials if the opposition could not fault it on the basis of being unqualified. Number one, a look at his profile showed that Babangida had served as a member of the board of directors of the Nigerian Export-Import Bank. Indeed, as a member of that board, he was the chairman of the Finance and General Purpose Committee. Still as a member of that board, he also served on the Risk Management and Credit Committees. And like you may know, Nexim provides short and medium-term loans to Nigerian exporters. Just like what the Bank of Agriculture, where it's going to serve, does. It provides loan to farmers. It could be short, it could be medium-term loans. So, that same Nexim Bank also provides short-term guarantees for loans granted by Nigerian banks to exporters, as well as credit insurance against political and commercial risks in the event of non-payment by foreign buyers. So, before I took up that appointment with Nexim, the young Babangida has served as a member of the board of directors of Unity Bank PLC from 2006 to 2012. And despite the fact that Unity Bank is a national bank, it is more known in the north, where it serves a lot of interest of farmers who need loans for agriculture purposes. And that, many will recollect, accounted for why it was part of the top banks when the regime of late President Muhammadu Buhari went full scale into agriculture. It was one of the biggest in terms of involvement, that is talking about Unity Bank PLC. And while he served on that bank for 6 years, that's between 2006 to 2012, he was a member of the board's credit committee, the board's IT committee, and compensation committee. What do these committees do? The credit committee obviously gives out the facility, that is the fund. The IT committee monitors with good data what is happening on the field, and the compensation committee for farmers who suffer losses. You recollect that at some point when the rains were heavy in Nigeria, a lot of farmers suffered losses, and that's what that committee handles. From 1998 to 2006, the young Babangida served as a member of the board of directors for Intercity Bank PLC. According to information available, he served as the chairman of the board's credit committee, member of the board establishment committee, member of the board IT committee, and member of the committee of directors. So, and the available information showed that during his tenure at Intercity Bank, that bank grew from a profit after tax of 33 million naira in 1998 to 500 million naira in 2003. Furthermore, we were told he established a solid IT platform leading to excellent delivery channels that were able to meet the ever-growing demands of the bank's market. Also, he has served in the government's owned establishment on the board of directors, and that's for the Niger State Development Company. It's an investment arm of the government, and that arm is expected to mold the economic future of Niger State by promoting economic development through the industrial development of that state. So that's what we found out from his bio, and which was why some sources said if that could not be used to discredit the government, that is his qualification, then it was also good, it could be good to say he has resigned and use it, even if it's temporary, cause some discomfort for the government. But this was quickly handled and sorted out. And like I said, it's been linked to the 2027 movement, where misinformation, disinformation, and others are supposed to reign fully, just like we told you in our first edition. So there we are in the last 1 week. But like I said, that it was not only the disinformation and misinformation and the movements in the Labour Party. There were also other movements in some other parties, like the purported illness of the former national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, which has been disputed. That's another disinformation that we had during the week. He was said to be so ill that he's been hospitalized, and some said he may not survive. But it's been disputed and clarified. So in the countdown to 2027, we are here to bring you all the details. And as much as we can every week, we will do so within the available and allotted time. We do believe that you will keep tab with us and stay and always touch base with us every week. Don't forget that we are on all social media platforms. And when you look at our bio on the YouTube channel, you can track us there and follow us. And like we've always appealed, for us to grow this together, we need you to share this video, we need you to like it, and we need you to subscribe to the channel. My name still remains Dr. Oladipo, the managing editor of the Eagle Online. I'll be back next week with another compilation of the movements on the political scene as it affects and will affect the 2027 elections. See you next week.